It's been a long wait, but we're finally getting Metroid Dread, a title we fans are somehow all too familiar with. This isn't only going to be the first original 2D Metroid in 19 years, but it's also a sequel to Fusion, meaning that this will canonically be the last game in the Metroid timeline. A new Metroid is always a cause for celebration, but Metroid Dread is more special than usual, and there are some details about this game that haven't been covered in the reveal trailer. So we're going to tell you 5 of these things in this video. These story and gameplay details were talked about in the development trailer with producer Yoshio Sakamoto, along with the Nintendo Treehouse and the development report on Nintendo's website. If you want to check them out, the links to them are in the description below, but we'll give you the abridged versions right now. Starting with number 1. This is the conclusion of the 2D Metroid story arc. Whoa, that's a big deal, isn't it? Makes me wonder if Samus is gonna, die or something. I hope not. Anyway, this game will continue and conclude the story arc that began with the very first Metroid game, or Zero Mission if you prefer the remake. Last time we saw Samus in the timeline was in Metroid Fusion, as she was infected with the X parasite and was saved by a vaccine infused with Metroid DNA. She became the very thing she swore to destroy. Except for the baby Metroid. We like the baby. With Dread being set after the events of Fusion, it's safe to say that she's still on the run from the Galactic Federation. We won't explain exactly what happened in Fusion, but she did something to make them pretty mad.
I'm a libertarian, so technically, the feds.
And speaking of the Galactic Federation, this brings us to their terrifying machines, Emmy. Obviously, the trailer did show us Emmy, but there are more details about these machines in the development video and Dread Report Volume 1. Emmy stands for Extraplanetary Multiform Mobile Identifiers, and since that is way too long to say out loud, they settled with Emmy, a cute name for the most terrifying enemies in Metroid history. Potentially. In fact, these robots are very reminiscent of Samus's X-Parasite clone, SAX. Not in the visual sense, but every time SAX entered a room in Fusion, it was always tense, as you couldn't fight it and you just had to hide or run. The same can be said for Emmy, as you are unable to fight them and your only hope for survival is to be absolutely still when it enters a room. This is made easier thanks to the Phantom Cloak Aeon ability, bringing Samus one step closer to becoming the Predator. You know what the real kicker is about Emmy though? They're research robots. Research. Why would a research robot need protective plating made out of the strongest stuff in the universe? I guess they do go to pretty dangerous planets and need all the protection they can get, but why are they here? Well, that brings us to number 3. The X-Parasite is still alive. Question mark. If you thought the X-Parasite was wiped out in Metroid Fusion, think again. Also confirmed in the Dread report, a transmission from the planet ZDR claims that the X-Parasite is still alive. The Galactic Federation sent out a unit of Emmy robots to investigate ZDR, but they mysteriously vanished. Now it's up to Samus to visit the planet and wipe out the X-Parasites. If the rumors of it being alive are true, that is. After all, she is the only person in the galaxy immune to the X-Parasite. The question we have now is if the Galactic Federation sent her to the planet to investigate, or if she went on her own accord. I'm betting the latter, as I'm sure the Federation wouldn't want to hire her again after the stunt she pulled in Fusion. However, does this also mean that the Emmy were deliberately programmed to fade Samus on sight, or are they corrupted by the X-Parasite, or something else? I did say earlier that these were just research robots, so something must have gone haywire in their programming for them to act as such. Given the fact that the Galactic Federation most likely hates Samus's guts at this point, it wouldn't be surprising. Now, on to the 4th item. Adam returns. If you don't know who Adam is, I'll explain. It's technically not this guy. Actually, this Adam is a computer program first introduced in Metroid Fusion, guiding Samus to where she needed to go throughout the BSL station. And yes, he was named after Adam Malkovich, her commanding officer in Metroid Other M. During the Nintendo Treehouse livestream of Metroid Dread, Adam the computer program was revealed to be in the game, and it looks like he serves the same purpose as he did in Fusion. The Treehouse stream cut away from Adam's scene in order to avoid spoilers, so it looks like he's going to play another very important part in Metroid Dread. There's a lot more about the story in Dread that we want to know. Like, what is this thing that looks like a mother brain unit? And is that a Chozo? It has a beak, so it has to be. While we know the premise of the story, it looks like Nintendo wants to keep more of it under wraps until October 8th. This brings us to our last item on the list, and this should be obvious for most Metroid fans. This is not the first time we've heard about Metroid Dread. Even if you're not a diehard Metroid fan, chances are you've heard the name of Metroid Dread at least a few times in passing. Well, that's because the game was kind of teased way back in 2007 through Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. On the Space Pirate homeworld, scanning a terminal revealed that the pirates were working on a project for the Metroids called Dread, which was about using the Metroids as a power source for weapons. However, Retro Studios has said that this had no connection to the rumored, at the time, game in development. It was then confirmed by Sakamoto in the development history video that they did plan on making Metroid Dread about 15 years ago, but decided to cancel it because they felt the technology at the time wasn't good enough to make the game they wanted to make. Chances are, the Dread project mentioned in Prime 3 still has nothing to do with Metroid Dread, as the name mostly implies the feeling you'll probably get while playing this game. Just the Emmy robots alone are enough to stress me out. Chances are, this is going to be one of the most dark Metroid games in the series. Anyway, those are just 5 things the reveal trailer didn't tell you about Metroid Dread. Fortunately, there is a lot of information about this game out already, so be sure to check out the other trailers and the Metroid Dread Report Volume 1 in the description below. Tell us, are you excited for Metroid Dread? Let us know in the comments section, and check out the videos on the right for more content you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.